Hello, my dears, and welcome to another session of my tarot predictions on this Tuesday, 21st of January 2020. And the topic I would like to do today is I would like to look at the USA elections, the upcoming 2020 elections, and particularly the chances of the candidate, which is arguably the most prominent candidate, namely Donald Trump. How are his chances to be re-elected in the upcoming 2020 USA elections? So for this topic I've chosen my Mystic Monday Tarot deck, despite the fact that today is a Mystic Tuesday, but it will stand us in good stead anyway. And I will go straight into business by using the good old-fashioned Celtic cross method. I'm now mixing the cards, as you can hear. So now okay, so we're ready to go. One, two, four, seven, 8, 9, and 10. And before I spread them out, I would like to say a couple of things. First of all, I have my private thoughts about all the candidates who are participating in the 2020 elections in the US. However, this does not influence the way that I do my card spreads. And also, I would like you to remember that if you don't like the outcome of what we will be doing now, then please remember that I'm just the messenger, and if you're commenting on my YouTube channel, which you are very much invited to do, please do so nicely. So let me spread out the cards now, as I said, in the Celtic cross fashion. And I'll put the 4 on the right side in a bit of a different configuration so that we get them, they can actually be seen on camera. All right, so let's see what the future, or rather the 2020 elections, have in store for Mr. Trump. So, my dears, what we have here is a very, very interesting situation. It seems that the outcome of the election in general is very much determined by two things. One of them seems to be the ongoing impeachment against Donald Trump. I'll show you later how I come to this conclusion. And the other thing seems to be that in the current situation, quite a lot of people are fearful or worried about their economic future. So I can see this here. Now, the moon usually characterizes a situation of deep-seated fears, and the Five of Pentacles characterizes a situation where people have a feeling that life doesn't give them what they want or what they need. So what I can see is that quite a lot of voters are worried about their economic situation and how their economic situation is going to evolve in the future. And there is a sense of broken promise here. It would seem that quite a lot of people had expected more from the administration of Donald Trump. in that respect, and to a certain extent they feel betrayed. I mean, I can see this here in the Eight of Cups, which means that there is a sense of disillusionment. So people, quite a lot of voters are disillusioned about the economic outcome for themselves that this Trump administration has brought to them so far. And on the other hand, what we have here is Seven of Swords in reverse, occupying the position of the past in the sense of what led to the current situation that we just analyzed. And what we see here is that Donald Trump's administration and Donald Trump's candidature for 2020 is not on firm ground. He's at sea, so to speak. He's navigating through fog, and he cannot see where he's going to. And the fact that this card is in reverse tells us that he's in denial of what I just said. Now, what is the reason for all of this? If we look at this card, which is the Nine of Wands, occupying the position of what is going on in Donald Trump's surroundings, so to speak, what we see is that he's being challenged from all sides, and it's easy to see that this refers to the ongoing impeachment procedures, of which I said that they seem to play a very important role in his chances to win the 2020 elections. And as I said, the analysis that I'm giving here is not my personal opinion. This has nothing to do with me personally. This is just what I see in the cards, and I want to stress this. Obviously, there are a couple of things that speak for him. I mean, for once, we have the Two of Cups on the position which occupies the position of his subconscious foundation, which means that he is still very much able to relate not just to his base, but to quite a lot of people in general. He's able to relate on an emotional level. That speaks for his chances in the 2020 elections, and also he has personally, he feels that he's on a very solid foundation, and that he can make plans for the future, which is what this card tells us, the Four of Wands. Which is very much in contrast to what to what the situation is actually like. The situation doesn't really give him reason for the optimism that he feels, but nevertheless, he feels very, very optimistic, and he's also very optimistic for the future. So that speaks for him, but as I said, it's in contrast to what his situation is actually like, and it's in contrast to how people feel with regards to the impeachment procedures, and with regards to what they expect from their future on an economic level. So the outcome of this is also very interesting. That will be this card occupying the position of the near future, which is the Devil in reverse. This means that quite literally the devil gets shaken off. Now, when we say liberation, of course, we would have to ask liberation for whom? It could mean that Donald Trump can clear himself of the accusations that are being made against him, but the outcome of the whole card spread is negative. We have the Nine of Swords. And that to me indicates that there might be something that is brought to light as a result of these impeachment procedures that we do not yet know about, and which contributes to the fact that Donald Trump's chances for the 2020 elections are not nearly as good as one might have expected. In fact, very much contrary to what I had expected, his chances to get re-elected in 2020 are very low. Okay, let me maybe it's a good idea to give you a summary of what I just said. There are two factors, as I said, that play an important role in this 2020 elections. One of them is people's fears about their economic future, combined with a sense of broken promises, which makes them distrust Donald Trump as a candidate for 2020. And the other factor is the ongoing impeachment, which will turn out to be a much longer drawn out process and much more vicious and nasty than we can now foresee. And it would seem that these procedures bring something to light that will make it very difficult for him to win the 2020 elections. And what we can see also is that he seems to be in denial of a reality. Now, I mean, obviously there is nothing wrong with being optimistic, and as a candidate, obviously you need to be optimistic and you need to radiate optimistic. Otherwise, people do not distrust. People do not trust you, but it doesn't help him. And in the end, his campaign will, as we can see here, will not succeed. But what we can also see, because this is a part of the message of the Nine of Swords, is that he is going to be very much in denial. So probably what we're going to see is that if he loses the elections, which, as I said, these cards tell me is very probable, he's going to lose the elections, is he will be in denial of that. And this is again going to be, his departure from the White House is going to be a long, drawn out and nasty process, which is probably accompanied by all sorts of judicial actions and so on and so forth. Now, this is very interesting, and as a matter of fact, just this morning, I did another reading about the same subject using my Dakini Oracle cards, and I would like to show you this because it very much confirms what we see in the tarot cards. So let me put the tarot cards away. And here's the spread that I got this morning from my Dakini Oracle cards. So the first card we have here is called Earthbound, which means that with respect to Donald Trump, in his election campaign, will reap the rewards of what he has sown, both in a negative and in a positive way, which then will result in him being thrown off the hot seat. This is a very, very interesting card. The hot seat represents a position of power, and it came in reverse, which literally means that someone is being thrown off the throne. Someone is being thrown out of a position of authority, and the results of this will be a very crazy and very nasty process, which, as I said, lots of viciousness and nastiness. So this confirms what we just saw in the tarot cards. He's very probably not going to win the 2020 elections, but he will be in denial of that, and it will be very difficult to actually persuade him to leave the White House. He'll probably contest the election. He will probably say that the election was rigged, and he will try not to leave the White House by judicial means. So unfortunately, the whole affair seems to get really, really nasty and vicious, as I said before. So I hope that the results of this card spread are not too depressing. And also, please excuse my rather confused English. It's, I'm not a native English speaker, and it's extremely difficult to say what you actually want to say and what you think and what you try to convey if on the spot spontaneously when you have no notes. I have to say that I had a lot of fun actually looking at this, and if you also had a lot of fun and if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel.